Hello, this is Anton. On behalf of Lima, Franz, Avery, and Ainley, we will present to you the sliding filament theory. Now, the sliding filament theory is the general model that explains how skeletal muscles contract. This sarcomere here, within let me zoom in, within a muscle fiber is basically the functional unit of contractility. Thin and thick myofilaments in a muscle fiber attach with each other, forming cross bridges that act like levers that pull the myofilaments together. Shown by this diagram, the myosin and the actin basically pull each other together towards the M line, towards the H zone.
Hello, my name is Anli Moturi. Our hypothesis is that if ATP and calcium are available, then muscle fibers will contract. This because ATP gives the energy for movement and calcium exposes the binding sites so myosin can attach or grab actin.
The Method by Avery Thompson. The sliding filament theory explains how muscles actually contract on a tiny molecular level. Actin and myosin slide past each other, which shortens the muscle. Some key parts are actin, which is the thin filament and has spots where myosin can attach. Myosin is the thicker filament and has heads that grab and pull on actin. Another key part is calcium, that opens up the actin binding sites, and ATP, which gives myosin the energy to release and reset. How the process works is calcium is released inside the muscle, and calcium shifts triomyosin so myosin can reach the actin. Myosin pulls the actin inward, which creates force, also known as the power stroke, and ATP makes myosin let go so it doesn't stay stuck. ATP breaks down and re energizes the myosin's head. This cycle repeats over and over, causing the filaments to slide. Sliding makes the sarcomere shorter and the muscles contract.
Hey guys, Franz here, and right now we're gonna look at a bar graph explaining the ATP and calcium levels before and after a muscle contraction. So as we can see here, the blue graph represents the muscle when it's relaxed, and the pink graph represents the muscle when it's contracted. So the ATP levels before a muscle contraction is high, but during a muscle contraction, it decreases. However, on the calcium level, when a muscle is relaxed, it's low, but when it's contracted, it increases. So overall, the sliding filament model helps explain how our muscles work. It shows that when thick and thin filaments slide past each other, our muscles can create force and movement. That includes everything from simple motions to the actions we rely every day. The sliding filament model allows nurses to better understand how muscles work and to recognize the potential effects of medications on patients. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lama, and I'm going to be talking about nursing relevance. So, the sliding filament theory is important in nursing because it helps us understand how muscles contract and why muscle weakness happens in our patients. When we know how muscles are supposed to work, it's easier to notice when something is wrong. It also shows why checking calcium and other electrolyte levels is so important. These minerals play a big role in muscle contraction. So if they're too high or too low, patients can have cramps, twitching, or weakness. This knowledge also helps nurses recognize problems in neuromuscular disorders, like myasthenia gravis, where the signals between nerves and muscles don't work properly. Understanding how muscles contract helps us assess symptoms more accurately. It also explains how certain medications affect the body, such as muscle relaxants, paralytical drugs, or anesthetics. These medications can stop muscles from contracting, so nurses need to watch the patient closely for safety and changes in movement or breathing. Because the diaphragm is a muscle, this theory also reminds nurses to monitor breathing. If muscle contraction is affected, the patient may have shallow breathing or difficulty taking full breaths. Knowing how muscles work also supports the importance of movement range of motion exercises. Patients who are sick on bed rest can lose muscle strength quickly, so encouraging safe movement prevents Muscle wasting. Finally, understanding muscle contraction helps nurses assess strength, mobility, and fall risk. This guides us in planning safe transfers, preventing injuries, and supporting patient independence. Overall, the safe sliding filament theory helps nurses understand what healthy muscle function looks like so we can better recognize, assess, and respond to changes in our patients. Thank you.